Dusty Gets a Winch, a story by Ari and Benny Picard. Dusty is a fire and rescue airplane. He and his friends head up the Piston Peak Air Attack Team, led by Blade Ranger. Dusty used to be a crop duster and a professional racer in Prop Wash Junction, but now Dusty has pontoons to pick up water and drop on fires. Blade is a helicopter with a winch, and he can pick up anything with that winch. One day, Dusty went to Blade and asked if he could also have a winch, but Blade explained that because he was a plane, he could not have a winch. Only helicopters can have winches because a winch is for stopping and picking things up. A plane moves too fast, so you will never be able to stop and use a winch, said Blade Ranger. Dusty was used to people telling him that he could not do things. When he wanted to race, he was told crop dusters could not race. To Dusty, this was just another challenge. He was going to get a winch somehow. Dusty went to visit a mechanic friend of his in Radiator Springs, Toe Mater. Mater might have a winch for Dusty. Sure, buddy, I'll give you a winch, but I don't know how to install one on a plane. You're going to need a plane mechanic, said Mater. So Dusty took his new winch to Maru, his plane mechanic. Maru bolted the winch onto Dusty's fuselage and gave Dusty some controls to raise and lower the winch hook. Dusty was so excited to try out his new winch, but he needed to practice first. So he flew to a nearby farm field to look for something to pick up with his new winch. He saw a hay bale behind a farm tractor and lowered the winch to grab onto the hay bale and tried to lift it up while he was flying. But he was moving so fast, he missed his mark, and the hook latched onto the tractor instead. Up went the tractor into the sky. When the farmer saw what had happened, he yelled out loud to Dusty, "Hey, put down my tractor!" Dusty looked down at the farmer and said, "Whoopsies, sorry," and lowered the tractor back down to the ground. Dusty wanted to help the farmer out and had noticed an open gate to the cow pen. So Dusty lowered his winch towards the open gate and tried to close it for the farmer. But he was going so fast that he missed his mark and hooked onto the cow instead. Up went the cow into the sky. When the farmer saw what had happened, he yelled out loud to Dusty, "Hey, put down that cow!" "Moo," said the cow.
That would always cows say.
Dusty looked down at the farmer and said,
"Whoopsie, sorry,"
and lowered the cow back down to the ground. Dusty was ready to admit he needed help, so he flew back to Prop Wash Junction and went to speak with his mentor, Skipper. "Please help me, Skipper." "Dusty, instead of trying to be a helicopter with a winch, be a plane with a winch." So Skipper suggested that Dusty use his winch to pick things up on the ground and bring them to their destination, rather than trying to pick things up while he was flying. Dusty thanked Skipper for his advice and flew back to Piston Peak Air Attack Base. Back at the base, the fire and rescue team was getting ready to fly out and fight a fire. Dusty was last to fill up his pontoons with water from the water tower, but he accidentally left his winch cable loose and it caught hold of the entire water tower. When Dusty took off from the ground to join his friends to fight the fire, so did the water tower. When Dusty caught up with his friends, they had all dumped their loads of water on the fire, but it was still ablaze. They needed more water and there was no time to go back. Blade called out, "Hey everybody, Dusty is here and he brought all the water. Great idea, Dusty. Dump everything you got on that fire and put it out." Dusty first dumped the water in his pontoons on the fire, and then he released his winch hook and dumped the entire water tower down into the blaze. Whoosh! The fire was extinguished. When all the firefighters from Piston Peak returned to the base, they congratulated Dusty for putting out the fire. Now all the planes wanted Maru to install winches for them too. But Maru said, "First, we are going to need more water towers." The end.